In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Hello, reporting. How are you doing? We'll be doing great for the mercy and grace of Almighty Allah. My name's N.H. Saqib. I'm an educationist, spoken English and IELTS trainer. Been training the students and professionals for the last 20 years at the platform of Genius Institute, Lahore. We are blessed that we've got the presence of Mr. Usman Ali today with us, and he has acquired 8.5 overall in IELTS general training. And today we'll be talking about his listening module. How did he tackle the listening, and what are the tips and techniques he can make us familiar with, which can give you a good band scores as well. So let's get started. How are you, Mr. Usman? Are you feeling good?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
And are you feeling a bit surprised after having got your result?
Well, I feel tremendous, to be honest, because I actually needed high scores this time. As you already know, that I've applied for Canadian immigration, which is basically an express entry program. And in this program, the more IELTS score I would get, the higher my points would be for the immigration. So I actually feel tremendous.
Your immigration is done, by the way, because you've got such a wonderful band scores, and there is no any issue regarding your confirmation of your immigration. Now, gentlemen, congratulations in advance. And now, as far as listening is concerned, the subtest, I mean, for IELTS, what are the fundamentals of listening you perceived during your practice and giving examination of IELTS?
So the first thing that you taught us, and I actually strongly agree with this one, is ear training. So you basically literally need to train your ears to be host to different types of accents, because in the listening exam there are different sections now called parts. In all those parts there are it's not like that you will just be asked to listen to one type of recording. So it won't be just a British accent that you would be hearing, or an Australian accent. It will actually be a mix of all accents. So in one part you could be listening to a British person speaking, whereas right in the next part you could be listening to an Australian person, which is a completely different accent and a completely different way of speaking.
Without a doubt, there are lots of accents involved. British, American, European, even Indian accents is also involved. So you must be able to have a lot of practice before appearing in IELTS listening test in particular. Okay, so a lot of accents you've told us about, and a lot of ear training. They're very good points. What about concentration? It is supposed to be the most important thing which should be given the concentration to.
Yeah, I strongly agree with this one as well, because you need to focus all the way through to the recording. You should not be distracted by anything, be it in the examination hall or in the recording itself, because there are distractors in the recording itself. You should always be focused, and this is what you taught us as well, to be completely concentrated on the recording, to not miss any part of the recording, and be completely focused in that regard.
Absolutely, you got to be focused in order to understand even petty details. Sometimes the answers come quickly after 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, and sometimes there are great pauses. You got to concentrate when actually he is pausing purposefully, and when he is trying to just trying to give you a little bit of gray area in order to make you confused about this test, because if this test is not that easy, you got to concentrate, and in this way you can grapple the answers. Right. And what are the little changes they introduced on the January 4th, 2020?
So basically, one is a very minor change actually. They've just named sections as parts. So previously, if you would give an exam, you would be told to turn to section 1, turn to section 2. Now you would be listening to turn to part 1, turn to part 2. So that's a small change. But one change that actually took me by surprise was that before, when you would start the listening test, they would actually give you an example. They would solve an example for you, and then you would start the test. So you would actually get familiar with the type of the recording, and you would have extra time to actually read the questions as well. But this time, there were no examples that they would have solved beforehand. we just literally
They're
went straight
making
into
it, the
test.
authorities of IELTS actually making it strict more and more with the passage of time. It's not the piece of cake, by the way. The first two sections, they are in the social context, and the other two sections are 3 and 4 are in the context of education and training. So you've got to be very much particularly concentrated on all that stuff, what is being spoken about by the different people involved of different nationalities. Now headphones are being provided by the British Council. They were previously also being provided by the British Council. They are actually the part of AEO, IDP, British Council. All bodies are providing the headphones. Do you think that it makes the difference?
It makes a lot of difference if you ask me, because when you're wearing headphones, you're actually in a very closed environment, air-wise. You're actually very in a closed environment, and it actually helps to develop focus and develop concentration, and it actually aids you in that regard, that you're not distracted by anything in the examination hall. Let's say if there were speakers, you would actually be distracted by anything, because you would be listening to the speakers and the ambient voices or sounds as well. So yeah, it helps a lot.
And no more echoing, no more distractions, and you're concentrating a lot through the headphones. Headphones are the blessings in disguise, I must say. They raise your, points 1.5 maybe, because of real concentration. Things are going straight away in your ears. So no more distractions from the people who are around you. Now, apart from this, sometimes people get lost during listening. What strategy should be used for not getting lost?
This was one very good trick that you taught us, actually. I remember in probably the second or third session. It was that we're supposed to we're supposed to use the time that's given before the section, any section or part, beg your pardon, any part that has started. So you know how you get 30 seconds or 1 minute to read all the questions. You should utilize that to read the questions as much as possible and to predict the answers when you read the questions before even the recording has started. That helps you in a great way, because even if there are distractors within the recording itself, you actually focused on the recording and you've read the questions beforehand. The questions are in your head as well. So it's just a matter of spotting the answer. But like, as soon as you've heard the option, the multiple choice question that's given, you instantly take the answer and move forward. And if there's a distraction in between, still, like, even then you are supposed to stay focused, because as soon as the recording moves to the actual question which you are supposed to answer, you're ready for it and you will not be distracted.
I would say that the time slot which is provided in the beginning of each section or each part, I beg your pardon, because they've changed the name now. That time slot makes the difference. Actually, if you're using it comprehensively, trying to pre-read all the questions which are going to be listened by you after a short while, if you are making use of that time very effectively, you will be able to just predict the answer. So the answer prediction can make it even easier for you to make more and more questions right. And last but not least, in multiple choice questions, actually students feel problem in fill in the blanks kind of questions and short answer questions. They tackle it down.
Yeah.
They spot on the answers. But as a matter of fact, in multiple choice questions, they feel a bit distracted, and there are lots of distractions as well.
Yeah.
So how would you suggest how they can make use of the time and how it can be sorted out?
First of all, focus. Do not lose focus, because you're supposed to listen to a recording, and within that recording is the answer. So you should never lose focus. That's number one. Number two, utilize your time effectively. When they give you the time in the beginning to read the questions, read the multiple choice answers, read them as much as possible. It's good if you can read them once, but it would be even better if you can read them twice. And apart from that, you should try to predict the answers, because some questions are very straightforward, and like, as soon as you read the question, you can actually kind of predict the answer. Okay, this would be the answer. And focus on the recording. As soon as you hear it, take it and move forward. And the last thing would be, if one is actually lost, forget about the question, move to the next question. Do not waste your time, or do not panic, because in the listening section, in the listening part module of the test, a person's calmness is actually a very key ingredient in that goes in building towards their grade. Because if they're calm, if they've even missed a question, it doesn't matter. They can guess the answer at the end when you get the time to recheck your answers. Just move forward and just
move forward in life. Don't get stuck anywhere. And that's also actually important as far as listening of IELTS is concerned. My dear friends, we have a bit of very informal gossip with Mr. Usman Ali regarding the listening as well. We'll reappear with another uploaded video of another module or further subtest. And in the meantime, stay connected. God bless you all. Take care and Allah Hafiz.